The farmhouse had been in our family for 91 years. My grandfather bought it in 1933. Our father grew up there, raised the three of us there in the holidays, and died in the front bedroom on a Tuesday in March, holding my mother's hand. My brother James was named executor in the will. My sister Helen and I were beneficiaries equally. We trusted James. He's the eldest of the three. He's a solicitor. He's the kind of man who knew what to do at the funeral when the rest of us were just trying to get through the mourning. After Dad died, it never occurred to us to look over his shoulder. That was the first mistake. About 8 months after the funeral, James told us at a Sunday lunch that the farmhouse would have to be sold to settle the estate. He explained it gently. He said our father had remortgaged the property in his last few years for medical costs. He said the debts came to almost $300,000. He said the kindest thing, the cleanest thing, would be to sell the house at a fair market valuation, settle the debts, and split what was left. Helen cried. I asked 1 or 2 questions and accepted the answers. The will would be read formally a few months later. James was already handling everything. He was the executor and the solicitor. He was, as he put it, saving the estate the costs of an external one. The sale went through in the autumn. The figure I was told was £350,000 after fees. The debts were settled. Each of us, Helen, me, James, received around £45,000. We had the wake there before it sold. The three of us walked through the rooms one last time. James cried, which I'd never seen him do before. I thought about how much of our childhood was leaving with that house. A year and a half passed. I was at a cousin's wedding in late spring, 2 years, almost to the day, after my father died, when my mother's youngest sister sat down next to me at the reception. My Aunt Margaret. She'd had a glass of wine. She put her hand on my arm and said, "Of course, James got the farmhouse for $200,000 under valuation. I never said a word. Your mother's been through enough. But I do think it'll come back to him one day." I asked her what she meant. She blinked at me. She said, "You knew, didn't you, about the private sale?" I said, "No." I drove home that night, sober. I started looking the next morning. The Land Registry is public. I paid £3 for the title register. I paid another £3 for the historical title plan. By lunchtime, I was looking at the names of the people the farmhouse had been sold to. The first sale, 6 weeks before probate completed, was a private sale at £350,000. The buyer was a limited company. The sole director and shareholder of that limited company was James. The second sale, 9 months later, was an open market sale at £620,000. $350,000 to himself, $620,000 on the open market, a £270,000 profit, tucked through a shell company, while telling Helen and me that the house had to be sold to clear our father's debts. I didn't tell Helen, not yet. I knew if I told her over the phone, she would call James in tears that night. I needed to know more first. I called a contentious probate solicitor, specialist firm in central London. I paid for an initial consultation and walked her through what I'd found. She asked me 3 questions. Was James the sole executor at the time of the sale? Yes. Did he disclose the private sale and his interest in the buyer to the beneficiaries? No. Was the price he paid himself supported by an independent valuation? We were about to find out. I instructed a forensic surveyor to backdate a fair market valuation for the date of the private sale. The figure came back at $540,000. Even at the lowest plausible figure for the area at that time, James had paid himself $160,000 under value before he even sold the house on for a profit. It was, the solicitor told me, a textbook breach of fiduciary duty. An executor cannot self-deal, even with consent from beneficiaries, which he did not have. Without consent, it was clean. I told Helen at her kitchen table on a Sunday morning. I brought the documents. I brought the valuations. I brought the title register printout. I asked her to read them all the way through before she said anything. She read them. She said, "What do we do?" We instructed the solicitor formally. The action was filed against James personally and against the limited company that had been his shell. Within 2 months, he was removed as executor by the court. An independent administrator was appointed in his place. The estate was reopened. The farmhouse profit was clawed back into the estate and redistributed. Helen and I each received a further £90,000. James kept his original share, but lost the uplift. He paid the legal costs. The independent administrator's fees came out of his portion, too. He never apologized, not in writing, not in person, not on the phone. He sent one message 6 months after the case closed. It said only, "I hope you understand what you've done to this family." I never replied. It's been 3 years since the case ended. I haven't seen James since. Not at Christmas, not at our mother's 75th birthday. He sends a card. We don't reply. Helen has spoken to him twice. Both times she came off the phone, shaking. She doesn't try anymore. Our mother, still alive, though slower these days, asked me once why I had to make such a fuss. She'd been told the version of events James told her. I never corrected her. I don't know if she believes it anymore, or if she's just chosen the version of the family that lets her sleep. I let her have it.